Good afternoon, everyone. The session is being recorded. Just to let you know, and we have today Stephen, Benally, and Lucy Benally sharing their presentation on homeschool. Stephen Benally from the Benally Nation is semi-retired. He worked in human resources in the educational setting and degree in special speech education. Spiritual leader and a founding member of the Indigenous Coyote Conservation Initiative. He served as the president of SED of the Benally Nation for 9 years. And then Lucy Benally, the Benally Nation, is a retired educator in elementary education. She currently serves as a board member of the Indigenous Medicines Conservation, a worldwide initiative that advocates for the She has 3 beautiful children and 4 grandchildren.
So that we have 3 up there. And that's right.
Good afternoon. Ja, de teaching. Ich bin nicht in Dienst. Also ich habe nennen, das steht.
Oh, it's a
Das ist auch. As was mentioned here, my name's Stephen Benally. My wife Lucy. We're thankful to be here with all of you today, and all due to my niece over here, Erica. Welcomed us over here, and really appreciate that. So, Lucy and I have been together 47 years. We have 3 children. These are our grandchildren, and we have a daughter and 2 sons, and they're all on their own now. So we're the only ones at home. So I was telling my niece here, we have horses and we have to get babysitters for our animals now. Not for children, but for animals. We're lucky to get that. We're here all this past week. No, we need to get back to get taking care of them again. We're members of the Navajo Nation out of Arizona in the Four Corners area, and we've been working and in a school setting, educational setting, most all of our careers, and I'm halfway retired, I guess. And, but it's worked out good for us, where we're able to do a lot of what we believe in, having a passion for talking about a way of life that's very unique to all of us. We're all here for the same reason as well, whether it be your personal life or your professional life. There's a need to continue to learn and to seek new information to help you in whatever that you do. We allow my wife to introduce herself here.
Yeah, that's interpretation. It's good. I'm Lucy Benally. I'm my body. So we relate out there through our time system, and our time system is not our so that's what we go by. Our body. So I think that's the bio. So that's who I am. And my other grandmother. I've been teaching for I don't know, a lot of years, and I retired. And now we're doing, what like he's saying, we're going around and some of you can help
Traditional workplace practices. We're just thinking about how all of that would apply to the conference here, the participants. Workplace, our workplace, if you look at it, you might think it's a place that you go 8 to 5 every day. But really, our workplace is this space that we live in. The earth that we walk on, heavens that we walk under, the light that we receive from the sun, the vegetation, plant life, all of life that is there with us, that's a part of who we are. It's a workplace that we wake up to every morning. And how many of us get a chance to really look at our workplace, where we thrive, where we live, where we know where we're at with it every day of our lives. Like getting up early in the morning, being the first to maybe see that early dawn and the rays from the sun that is going to be coming up there, looking at how and what that is all about. And thinking that sunrise is coming up for me. What am I going to do with all that light it's going to give me? So in the indigenous sense, it's all about what's the first thing that you do when you wake up? The first thing you do is you think. You think. And so the Navajo way, first thing that you do is you think. And that thinking process, your mental process, it goes with the easterly direction, which is in line with that early morning dawn. And it also goes in with the season of spring. Springtime is when everything comes to life. It begins. I guess indigenously, that's kind of like our new year, when everything comes back to life. And so, just like every day of your life, when you wake up, the first thing you do is you think. Think about what you're going to do with all the little blessings that you get that morning. And as that early dawn begins, and then the sun comes up, and you're given that light, you're given a responsibility to make use of that light, that day. And which way does that travel? It usually travels in the southerly direction of the sun. And as it's going that way, the first thing you do in the morning, you think, and then you begin to talk about what you want to do, what it is that you want to do with that day, where that sun begins to travel. Well, I'm gonna go to work, go do some things that your daily chores, your morning chores. Like for mine, it's I wake up and the first thing I hear, my horse is over there wanting to eat. So I have to go over there, feed ourselves, and then begin to do what we plan to do that day, implementation of what you want to do, get that done. When evening comes, you've done what you've had to do, and where do we go in the evening when that sun starts setting? We start going home, headed for home, either from school or from work or wherever. Time to go home. And when you get home, that's where your livelihood is at. So what you woke up to think about and what you did all is what you take home in the evening. Whatever that you brought home You share it with whoever's home there with you in the evening. As the sun sets, you see all those colors that go back to the sunset. You know, those colors, they say, is to help you to really put your mind back at ease so that you can rest good. Most of the time, we take a lot of our day's baggage home. And if we don't put it in a real good, if we don't deal with it in a good way, then it will mess up our rest, our sleep. Be tossing around all night. But if we put it in good, to rest in a good way, then get home. Time to go to sleep. You rest up good. The northerly direction brings that real good rest. Nice. Serenity, this is what we call it. Where all comes to a good composure. And your body, your spirit goes to sleep with that. So in all of that, you go with the spring season, your summer season, fall, winter. So all of that is our workplace where we go to work with it and to work within it. And so like right now we're in the summer season. Summer season, what's going on now for those of us that work within this workplace? It's time, probably right about now. It's spring was planting time. Summer is taking care of all of what you need, and by fall time you're harvesting, getting ready, and by winter time you should be ready for winter. Preparation, seasonal preparation. If you don't take care of what you need to take care of within this workplace, you could very well go hungry, you could get really hot, or you could get cold and miserable. And so this workplace that we have, it's a place for us to learn to move with that movement. The movement, the natural cosmic movement, how that goes. And so where we're at today, the hustle and bustle of everything, somewhere along the way, it creates a change that even in our own lives, it would create stress, I guess we would call that. Stress means that somewhere something is not right, something is out of place, and something isn't working as it's supposed to be. It causes a problem for oneself. So nature, our home here, that we were given our workplace. Sometimes in the workplace, someone has a problem with working with people, or gets more after their own rather than helping everybody along. And so our workspace here in nature, what's going on now? How many of you think about or it bothers you that there's all these fires that are happening? And then the hurricanes, the tornado, weather, climate, everything is, it seems like in climate change, they call it climate change, some of them refer to it as climate change. There's an imbalance. in our workspace. Some say it's created by all of what we have done to it. Maybe not we, but what's been done to it. It has gotten it out of sync. And so you look at that and you think about, so what caused that? What caused that disorder? Probably greed, probably number one. Greed, power. And so if that disrupts the whole workplace, this natural workplace that we have, are those same two that causes disruptions in your regular workplace where you are employed? Sometimes too, huh? Because greed will get people pitted against one another. Power will make workplace an uncomfortable place to be. How many of us are now kind of uncomfortable with our natural workspace? Any of you? What makes it uncomfortable for you? For me, what makes it uncomfortable for me is these ones here. I worry about them. I have my chance to go out to a river and drink right out of that. No problem. A time when we rode my horses out to the riverbed, there would be my horse drinking over here, my dog drinking over here, and I would be drinking right there along with them. There was nothing wrong. I worry that my grandson here, a little bigger now, he likes to act like he's riding a horse, put his cowboy hat on and jumps around. I worry if he'll ever get that chance to drink out of the river. Free. Those lines.
Well, talking about the 4 pillars that you talked, that's associated with they're associated with our first secret cell phone. And from that, the 4 pillars that you talked about, that applies to our everyday living too, like for the role in the home. It's the same thing, like our oldest granddaughter's, our oldest grandson's birthday is today. So this morning, first thing I thought of was, I thought of him. And so that was my thought. And then if we were home, we would have, done something for him. Talk to him, encourage him, tell him, give him some advice on life. That's what we would do. And then, we would be with him. And, through all of that teaching, he would be like to the north, then he would be like, and the north is where things are strengthened, it's put in place. Stability is to the north. So we want him to be a stable person. We want him to be a strong person. We want him, to be thriving, to carry out his life's responsibilities. So, just with that, there's an example of me thinking of him, and then what we would have done to bring joy to him, and then being with him as a family, socializing, and then also him like, oh, okay, this is what they think of me, this is what they want from me. These are the things that make me feel good, so I can move on again. So in the home, it's like that as well. They're guiding principles as how one should go about life. So that's what, the 4 pillars is talking about.
Talking about all about the workplace, the natural workplace. And how there is that order, and that balance, and that harmony. And so we had that when we were growing up, and I had that, and then one day, 5 years of age, was taken from that into a residential boarding school. You probably all heard about that. And I never been away from home. Pulled out of there. When I got there, I remember very clearly, that how scared I was. And not knowing a word of English, not even knowing what my own name was, because we work with kinship. There's based on our clans, your mother, your father, Shema, Shija, Shade, Shadi, all of those are relationships that we work with, and that's how we interact with one another at home. None of the colonized name calling, it's not there. And so when I got to school, I didn't know what it was. Older brothers and sisters from my aunt's family that knew. And so the uprooting of oneself from all of what you knew and putting it into a setting that was totally unfamiliar. What that has caused for Indian people, a lot of our people can relate to that. What that has caused, I think, is something that we're dealing with today. That disruption of that natural order, that natural process. I've heard people, different ones talk, and all of what we're doing and what you're all here for and what you're doing is trying to find a way to heal a disruption of some kind within your own tribal groups, within your families. And what we're trying to do is find a way, find means to come to some kind of a plateau, I guess, of where we can begin to put things back in its proper order for ourselves and for those that are up and coming. Because if we don't, things can just get really worse than it is, I guess you could say. Let's say, for example, this pandemic. All of you are frontline, most of you, if not all of you, were probably frontline workers in that, one way or another, with any health positions. This pandemic, what have we gotten out of it? I've talked with some of my peers and I said, a home, if I was to ask you, define what a home is, would you be able to? Would you be able to define exactly what a home is? Way back, a home, this workplace that I was talking about, you bring it back to your home, a dwelling there, where you have your fire, you have your water, you have your food, you have your bedding, you have all of what belongs to you, and you have your children in there. It's a safe haven, a place to go where you're one with each other, every one of you that is there within that within that dwelling, you're all one. A family, a bond that's there. That has been taken away with colonization, school, whatever. And this pandemic, what it has brought us to, or how it has enlightened us, I guess, in a way, is, I said, a home for the most part, for a lot of us is like a motel. It's a place that we go back to in the evening to sleep, and then in the morning we're gone again. That interaction, that daily interaction that makes the home home, it was missing. Even as we're supposed to be the first teachers at home, but our children spend majority of the time away from us at school. In the evening, we have maybe 1-2 hours with them, and it's sleep time. Morning time, 1-2 hours, and well. So when we were forced to go back to our house, or a lot of us, we didn't know what to do. A lot of time, don't know how to use it. Our children no longer went to school, and grandchildren, they had to be with us. We didn't know what to do with them. It was very difficult. And it was a real wake-upper, I think, of course, what we're all about as a family. So in a lot of ways, I think this pandemic really helped to wake us up to what really is, as opposed to what was, what we had been so used to, and what we are missing out with our children, our grandchildren. Am I making any sense? And so workspace, traditional workplace practice, taking it all the way back over there from the Western way of life, this colonization. I've heard the word that used quite often about living in two worlds. I think what people mean by that is the traditional life, and then probably the Western life. But I always say there's only one world. There's only one of us. And that one person has to figure out how it fits into all of this space that's there. As I said, I was put into a residential school at a young age. And I managed to maneuver through that. It wasn't easy. But I think the life's lesson that I got out of that is learning how to maneuver oneself to deal with issues that are not comfortable. So life ways always has a challenge. And every challenge provides an opportunity to learn from it, to make better, to do better. Duality, indigenous people. I think all indigenous people, we have that in our stories, duality of all things. You see, Mother Earth, Father Sky, male, female. everything has a positive and a negative, male and female. They come in pairs. And so our spirit here, our inner spirit and our body, it has to come together as one in order for there to be any balance of harmony. And so how we work with that and how we put that together will determine how we enjoy or how we look at what we do every day. And so duality, even prayer, religion, ceremonial ways is a prayer. A prayer is a female version of who you are. A song is the male version of who you are. It goes together to make you who you are. In order for there to be any balance in your belief, what you're all about, there's got to be prayer, there's got to be a song. So how that all comes into place, spirituality. This morning, I talked about that a little bit when I was asked to pray. Some of you were probably there. The prayer, if everything was good all the time, no problem, it's good, we wouldn't need to even pray. Huh? But we pray because we don't know about what's up ahead. Why do we worry about what's up ahead? Because we know what's back here. That's why. There's from yesterday, we've learned that things can change really fast. And so in order to prepare for that, and we pray that day coming, when we wake up and start thinking that day is going to be good, that it's going to help us to do good for ourselves. We pray about that. And so prayer, the power of prayer is all that we have sometimes to help ourselves. It's one spirit that never leaves us. Indigenous people, way back over there, prayers were said. And all of history, what our great ancestors had to come through and to endure in order for us to be here. Where did that resiliency and that perseverance, where did they get that from in order for them to go through all of that so that we could be here? Power of prayer. I have a grandmother, my sister sitting over there, our grandmother. There's two sisters, my grandmother was telling me, two sisters that were just teenagers when this long walk with the Navajos happened. They were taken from their homeland and marched 450 miles to Bosque Redondo, another concentration camp. And during that journey there's a lot of them that got sick or they were slow or whatever, that were just shot along the way. And when they got to that concentration camp over there, the two grandmothers, they had their skirts they had bullet holes in them, and somehow they didn't get hit by that, but it went through their skirts. They made it, and they made it back, and that's where we're coming from. If one of those bullets had found its mark, you wouldn't have Stephen Benally standing before you today. Or Erica Charlie here working for USET. That would have never happened. And so what was it that helped us to make it to where we're at? And I attribute that to our grandfathers that had these sacred medicine bundles that were able to help their people in that real trying times, to that bundle, that medicine bundle that they had to get them out of that period of time back to their own home place. They didn't know how to talk their English language, but somehow there were treaties that were made where it allowed us to go back to our original homeland. Some tribal members never got that blessing. They went elsewhere. But that didn't matter. I think this resiliency, this perseverance helped to adjust and to adapt and to continue to be where we're at today as indigenous Indian people. And we have allies now that are helping us to get together and keep together and make something happen that is good for us. As I was talking about this pandemic, right now, all of you in your professions as health providers, public health service providers, you're dealing with the after effects of this pandemic now, emotional traumas, mental issues. All of us went through that. Even today, I can honestly say there's maybe about 3 of my relatives that I have yet to accept that they're gone. Because when they left all by themselves, and the mortuary that was there. We couldn't go see them. We couldn't attend funerals. We couldn't do anything that would put closure to any of that. And it was a sad state of things for us. And so we find ourselves driving and sometimes talking, especially when we're driving along. I'm talking about Larry White. Over there, we look over there. And did it really happen? And so we know that a lot of our people, Indian people, others for that matter, everybody, that's where we're at. And so workplace practice, we have to come together like we're doing right now to help provide a type of healing, further healing. So that when you leave from here, you would go back to your workplace and provide help that is going to be more meaningful. Or it's going to be able to help you to help yourself so that you can be of better help to others. And it's been a long haul for a lot of Indian people. We know that that's the case. And so how much time do I have?
Yeah, 30 more minutes.
30 minutes?
Kind of putting that practice into what we do. I'm on the board for Indigenous Medicine Conservation, and he's on the board for the Indigenous Peony Conservation. With that, when they were forming the governance, we were saying that a lot of these colonized ways of trying to run governance doesn't work. So in it, put in some, traditional practices, how we're, like, their board meetings and even our board meetings. For me, I work with, other nationalities and other countries where they're trying to also, conserve their indigenous medicine. So like in Africa, there's a board member from there, for Iboga, and then from Colombia, from Mexico, and then myself. So we try to work, using, traditional practices where, like, instead of using the law to recruiter, a council where everybody has a say, and then when decisions are made, consensus. So that's how we conduct business for those organizations. And we're new, never has there been anything done to serve these type of businesses. And for IEC, it's only been a year. And for IPCI, I think it was 2017 when they first started. But in that, there's I think we coined it, it's called right relationship. Call it right relationship, where we have to work with the lending, or we have to work with the renters. That's where the ability is. So in order to work with people, we have to use this thing that we're calling right relationship. And so that means that, in order to make something work, we have to use, like, for us, Indians, natives, we use that kinship. So you have to form those relationships. And then you have to maintain it, in a way to almost where you're almost related to them as family. So in your work, I guess it's like that too, where people come close, and sometimes you can even, if you're, I know natives are like that. If you really like even another person that's of a different race, we call them like sister or mother, or we tend to bring them into our circle, full circle. So in that way, in the workplace, things kind of are easy. People are at ease. People, like there's a lot of joking around, with us. So, that way there's tension. If there's tension, we can break that up. And you can even give them a serious advice if need be, So there's this thing that we're calling the right relationship. And I think, if you build that into your system and where you work, I think that's pretty things along, right, in the right way.
Rightful relationship. I think that's your own relationship with yourself. What kind of relationship do you have with yourself? When you look in the mirror, who do you see? Do you know that person that is there? Do you like that person that is there? What kind of a relationship do you have with yourself? Because that relationship that you have with yourself is what you're going to have with the next closest person that you have to you. And then from there on, it's your children, your grandchildren, extended family, and then it'll go into your workplace. You can have all the educational academic preparation that you can have, all the degrees that you can get, but that rightful relationship, if it's not there, it's going to have an effect that could be far better if it wasn't there. If that relationship with yourself is all positive and it's in place and it's good, And all those tools that you gathered, you will be more effective with it. But if that rightful relationship with yourself isn't there, then you have all of these tools at your disposal, but how it works for you is not going to be as good. This is a grandfather talking to me one time, going to a ceremony, say, hey, grandson, you leave those degrees and all that stuff over there by the doors. They don't belong in here. In here, we're all equal in the ceremonial setting. We're all equal. What we know, what we have, it has to come from here to make it work in here. It has to be that same thing in here too. When you get out of that circle, that ceremonial circle, you put everything in order in here, then you can pick up your tools and you can do wonders with them out there. You have that potential to do wonders right here. Indigenous people, and then all other people probably have all of that too. For what you do and how you say things, it has to be genuine. It has to be you. You can't just be doing and acting like someone else. Indigenous people, I think that was something that was kind of an issue for us for a lot of years. After residential boarding schools and all, some of us probably thought that we were better off going the colonized way, going with the colonizer, that our own way was less than this other. And that brainwash worked us over good for a long time, until somewhere somebody woke up and said, hey, and it was probably due to issues that our children were beginning to have, what they were getting involved in, and then the chaos, the sickness, that was beginning to happen. And that's when we took a step back and said, hey, something is not right here. And that's where we begin to question where we were headed as Indigenous people. Say, hey, there's something not right about this. And took another step back. And I think that's when we use our own to help us to begin to rebuild ourselves. And where we realize that all this Western methodologies, methods, whatever that we learn, we begin to realize that those are just tools that we're learning. We can do as good with a shovel, but it would be even better if we learn how to operate a tractor for farming. And getting a degree is like learning how to operate a tractor. You can do more, and you can do more with time. You can get more done. You can take care of more. You can do as well with shovel, but it's going to take more time, more physical work. So these are some of the wake-up calls I think we all got to wake up to somewhere along the way. And now we have these people, our own, that are in a position to put together a plan, an idea to salvage, or in some cases, to make better what is there with our health issues throughout the country. It's not just Indian nations, it's the whole nation. Supposedly, one time I was doing a presentation in Manhattan, New York City there, and I said, civilization, I was talking about civilization. And, civilized people, I don't think have homeless people. Civilized people, I don't think have poverty or hunger. I think civilized people are supposed to help one another. Make sure that nobody gets left behind. Indigenously, that's how we were way back. Everybody helped one another. Nobody was left behind. Everybody had a place. Everybody was equal to one another. Will we ever get back to that? Probably not as a whole, but we can with ourselves, individual selves. Do you know yourself? Somebody that needs a helping hand that's got a can, say, help me, sitting on a sidewalk. If it's good in here, and if we have something spare change, we can help out. But if we don't, that means that you just go past that and not even do anything to help out. What does that say about this person? Your family, in our families, we have certain families that are struggling, that get on the wayside, be getting in trouble with the law or something. Say, hey, mother and father, it's their fault. They're not raising their children. That's why. Or you go over there, hey, select today, brother, sister. Is there any way that we can do something to help you to get this address this issue? So those are what we do to help to make a workplace work better. You have an employee that's struggling. You know they're struggling. You go over there and you offer your help. Or do you go to the supervisor and you report that person that they're not doing their job? They may just need some help in what they're doing, or they may need to have an ear to unload on so that they can do better. It's not their job performance, it's what's happening at home elsewhere that's causing this. And so in our best practice, traditional best practices, all starts with this one right here, right here, right here. If this is in order, then you share it with the next one, and the next, and the next, and the next. And before you know, you have people that know that they can help each other, that there's an ear, that there's help, that there's going to be that. You look forward to going to work. How many of you look forward to going to work? How many of you get to work and look forward to going home? You know what we've shared with you, your son. I had a whole different presentation. But I was just thinking about, we were talking about, my wife and I were leading up to this. What would these people really need coming over to this conference? Maybe we just need to share with them some information that they might use to help themselves do better themselves and others, with their family, with everything else. Just give them that little medicine they can use to their livelihood, to make them feel better and feel like they've gotten something that is going to help them in what they do, how they do the life that they lead. And so I guess being a practitioner, it's a ceremonial practitioner, you have people that come that you pray for. And my wife usually puts it in a real good order. She does her part. She says, I let this medicine take its course, and I follow it with prayer, and I follow it with song. And that's what we did today. My whole other spiel, but I felt like there was it had to come from here. Talk with you all, and I hope that you all got something that is going to help you to apply to what we do where you're at. I just want to let you know that each one of you are important. There's nobody else in this world that's like you. You're one of a kind. That's why it's so important to know this person, because there's no other one to know but this. This is it. This is gone. It's going to be gone. You are the only one that is here. There's others that may look like you, similar, but they're not you. Never will be. And you're the only one. And so I hope that you take that and you would look in that mirror and say, hey, I like this person. One of a kind. I want to enjoy this person for a long time. I want this person here to enjoy these guys long time. In order for these to enjoy this one's got to like himself. And only then will you be able to take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be good to yourself. Treat yourself good so that you can treat the closest person to you good. And talk to them good. So that you can then treat these other ones, all of them good. So I hope that when you get home, you would all see that person, the closest one to you, give them a hug. Next one, next one. Do that. That goes a long way. We're all on a prayerful journey. Grandpa, Grandma, way back over there said a prayer for us. And that prayer catches a spirit, a wave, in the light, in the air, in the water, all that nature. And that prayer never goes away. It's living, it's born. And all of a sudden you find yourself where someone had prayed about that and you're there. That's how awesome prayer is. They never go away. They keep going. Don't matter if it was said 20, 50 years ago, it carries. So all those traumas and all those these historical traumas that we've all gone through. Prayers, we're still here trying to make the best of what we've done. Moving on. So what we say and what we pray about today, they're going to be living time. So we got to take care of what we have here so that they can enjoy that when their time comes. They get to our age. That's the whole purpose of life, is to prepare the up and coming to live in this world. Nothing else. The whole purpose of life is to make ready for those followers to live here. Going, move forward. That's it. Nothing else. But what disrupts that, we all know, as I say, the true culture is power and greed. That's what messes it all up. But this one is more powerful than that. Enough of it put together, it can make things happen. What we're doing here at this conference, a lot of minds coming together. We're going to take that back to our rightful places out there and put it to good use and really make things happen for our people that we serve, public servants. A lot of us ourselves with public servants, schools, working in schools, or public health facilities, wherever that you work, public servant. You could be someone else out there on your own for your own. But we say we're better to provide services to others. And that's what we like. Our passion is there, being a part of everybody in terms of making things good all the way across the board. So I hope that we have kind of hit on a little bit of what I wanted to, just thinking about the composition of the people that were here today. So I want you all to feel good. You feel good about yourselves. You have families, you have children, mother, father, siblings. And feel good about who you are. Thank the Creator that your dad and your mom put you here. Think about all the wonderful people that had a part in your life so that you could be where you're at, where you can help people. And those that are there that are helping you, encouraging you along the way, think about them. Be thankful that they molded a person that is unique and special in what they do, all of them. So,
I guess this is kind of what I learned. This is my first time at a health conference. I'm so used to going to educational conferences. And I just realized that health has to be before education, before you can learn anything. So I really applaud you guys and being that field. And then thank you for being someone who understands it.
So just a little back to what she said about our medicine, indigenous medicine. We have our medicine, our way of life. One of the keynote speakers this morning talked about this Native American church, that ceremonial peyote way of life that we have. That's what we were raised on, and that's what we're raising our children on, our grandchildren, doing all that we can to work with that, be a part of that. That's kind of our passion. And so we do that all over the place, and make presentations here and there, about it. Standing up for what we believe in, standing up for what we think is going to be good for our children, that we know is good for them. In order for them to have it, then we have to do our part in order to have them have that available to them, and we have to do what we have to do to make sure that happens. Just talking about preparation, making preparations for those that are coming. So And I know that you all have a place, you all have a prayer, you all have a song. And that's good. Keep it going, keep that sound going, keep that movement going. Because that's what keeps us moving all the time. Nature has a song, nature has a prayer. Everything in nature has its own unique sound. It makes a movement that it makes that's unique to them. And that's the case with us here too. And sometimes people, they say God way up there and they point way somewhere. They think God is imminent. All that is there, all that is natural. It's imminent in us. That's why we can make someone feel good. We can make somebody smile back. That's why nature can do that. See something good, we can feel good. We can lose our whatever was on our mind by just seeing something really nice, maybe a bird singing or something. That's that creator that's in that. You will always see that and you look out for those, as you leave from here. It's all around, it's there. Really see, really listen, really smell, really taste, really feel. Because that's where the medicine is. That's where this God is. It gave us those senses so we can sense its existence. So it makes us feel good. So just want to leave that with you, and then always leave a song with you all. It's one of our medicine songs that we use. Just make you feel good. Bless himself for all of you. After that, then, if there's any questions, we might entertain a few here. If he doesn't get rid of us. Oyonasha, Yona, Yo, Oyonasha, Yona, Yo, Oyonasha, Nejona, hey, yo, one day, Nejona, hey, yo, one day, Nejona, hey, yo, one day, Nejona, hey, yo, one ya, Yawana, Oyina, hey, People the in the cargo. Oyonasha, Jose, Nejona, hey, yo, one day, Nejona, hey, yo, one day, Nejona, hey, yo, one day. Nejona, hey, yo, one ya, Yawana, Oyina, hey, ya. Oyonasha, Yawana, hey, yo, Oyonasha. Yawana, hey, yo, Oyonasha, Azeh, Nejona, hey, yo, one day, Nejona, hey, yo, one day, Nejona, hey, yo, one day, Nejona, hey, yo, one ya, Yawana, Oyina, hey, people forgetting and keep a cargo. Oyonasha, Azeh, Nejona, hey, yo, one day. Nejona, hey, yo, one day. Nejona, hey, yo, one day. Nejona, hey, yo, one ya. Awana, hoina, ya. So may I walk in beauty in this corn pollen road. Walk in beauty. That's what that song says. Comments? I don't know how much time we should have. I really enjoy it. Where's your home? Where's your home? Geez, not supposed to Arizona. We Four Corners area. We're on the site. Near Monument Valley? Yeah, about an hour east of Monument Valley. Oh. Depends on that. Yeah.
Is it planned or what? For us, we think Turkey as well. And then we have toad. And then in Africa, it's Iboga. And then South America is the Atlas. I know there's a big movement now, with the psychedelic movement, where they're having these medicines. And what we're seeing is, they need protection.
So essentially, then you've heard like the psychedelic movement, so essentially like protecting the traditional medicine, so they're not used like recreation outside.
Okay, thank you.
One great presentation. Really wonderful. Who wants to offer this? Year one. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. I said, plans.